So now what we will do, we will deploy a VM. Okay. So this is the connector VM. So for that, what I'll do, I'll go back to my virtual machine and I will click on Azure Virtual Machine and I will select a resource group which we have created, which is CTX RG. Virtual machine, I'll select CTX Cloud Connector, CTX CC. Region, Central US. So always you have to choose the same region where you have your virtual network. Okay. You cannot create VMs in one location and the virtual network in another location. So virtual location and VM location will be always same. Since my virtual network is in Central US, I'll use Central US. So this is the option, availability zones. So if you wanted to use availability zones, you can use it. Otherwise, you can use availability set or you can use without anything. Since it is a lab, I'm going with it without anything. But for a practical scenario, always choose availability zones. The moment you choose availability zones, it will ask in which availability zone you wanted to place your VM. Okay, either you can choose zone 1, zone 2, or zone 3. Practical approach is you are going to deploy two connectors, right? Keep one in one zone and another one is another zone. Since this is a lab, I'm not going to deploy it across the availability zones. Security type, I'll keep standard. So then image, yeah, this is very important. So it will ask which image you wanted to use for this VM. As I told you, it will support 2019, 2022, 2016, etc. Right? Server. So I'll use server 2019 data center. Then the size of the VM. So there are many sizes available as per your requirement. As I told you, the minimum configuration should be 2 VCP 8 GB RAM, right? So I'll go with this one. But according to your requirement, you can alter this and always you can change this anytime. Okay. So username, this is the local account it will create. So we need to give our local account credential here for this VM. I'll give some random password here. And this is very important, public inbound ports. So it will ask whether do you wanted to allow any public inbound for this network. So I don't want to allow anything for now. That we will look into it later. Okay, I'll create none. So when I create none, I will not be able to access my VM. Okay, because I'm blocking all the ports. That we'll see how we can allow it later. So next, go to disk. In the disk, what you can do, you can select the size of the disk, 128 or 256, whatever it is. So I'll keep 128 itself. And then it will ask which type of disk you need. As I explained, right? Premium disk or SSD or standard HDD. So always for production, use premium SSD. Since this is a lab, I will go with standard HDD. Rest everything is, I'm not going to change anything. I'll click on networking. So this is very important. As I told you, right? Here you need to choose your VNet for your virtual machine. So earlier you remember we created a VNet, right? So it is coming over here. So now you can select which VNet you want. Either you can put it in the connector subnet or VDA subnet. So as I told you, for this demo, I'm going to use my existing VNet, which is AVD test VNet. So under this, I have a subnet called test subnet. So this is a default subnet. So I'm going to use it. But in your scenario, as I explained you have to choose carefully according to your requirement. Public IP address. So if you wanted to take the remote of the VM, you need to assign a public IP address. However, in a production infrastructure or in an enterprise level, you should not assign any public IP address to your virtual machine. Now you may have a question. If there is no public IP address, how I can access the VM? So for that to answer, every company, every enterprise, they will have VPN connection or express route connection. So they can use the private IP address of the VM and then they can connect. Okay. So no need to assign the public IP address. Since this is a demo, I don't have VPN or I don't have any express route. I have to use the public IP address. But again, do not use in production. Very important thing, network security group. So by default, as I told you, like network security group, it is a firewall on the virtual machine level or on the subnet level. Right? Under NSG, you will have three options, either none or basic or advanced. None means it will not attach any NSG on the VM level. Please understand. on the VM level. Okay. So if you select basic, it will create a NSG on the VM level. Okay. Now, since I already have a NSG on the subnet level, right? I don't need at the VM level. So in that case, I will click on none. Okay. But if you do not have any NSG on the subnet level, then you have to click on basic and then you need to proceed. Okay. So now what I'll do, I'll simply click on none now, and then I will click on review and create. Now, once our VM is ready, right? So what we have to do, then we need to download and install the Citrix connector setup. Okay. So to do that, first what we have to do in the Citrix, we have to go to the Citrix Cloud. And in the Citrix Cloud, we need to define something called resource location. Okay. So to do that, I'm going here. So this is my Citrix Cloud portal. Okay. So typically, if you go to the citrix.cloud.com, you will get this page. For example, let's say I'm going to open it in incognito window so that you will follow what I'm saying. See, you'll get this page. Then you need to do the login. Okay. So click on sign in, and then it will ask for authentication. Then it will ask, the tenant. So this is the tenant in the Citrix. So it will give you me the login page. Like it will successfully, logged in. And now I need to choose something called a resource location. So here we are defining our resource location. Either it is in the cloud or it is in the on-premise, etc. But first we need to define under resource location. Okay. So I'll go to the resource location. I will click on resource location. Okay. So it will ask the what is the name of the new resource location. I will select VDI bus CTX demo. Okay. So I'll click on save. The moment it will create the resource location, right? It will also, it will give, once it is created, we need to scroll down. And here we can see this is our resource location now created. Now we need to click on Cloud Connector. That time it will ask you to download the Cloud Connector setup. So for example, let's say I'll click on Cloud Connector. So it will ask you to download. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll not download here because this is my local PC, right? I have to download and install it in my VM. So let's see my VM is ready or not by this time. Yeah, my VM is ready. I'll try to take a IDP of this VM. Yeah, see, now I'm able to access it. So this is the local admin account I have provided while creating the VM. So now I'm able to log into the Windows server. So now what we have to do, we need to take this VM in domain, and then we need to install the Citrix Citrix connector, cloud connector. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll quickly take this VM in domain, then we can proceed with the installation later. Domain join is succeeded. Give you a reboot. So here, this is the one troubleshooting menu. So here you can see what is happening on the VM. Okay, so it will take the screenshot at every 5 seconds or something like that. This time I will use the domain admin. Okay, so now we have logged in successfully to our Cloud Connector VM. So now the next part is we need to download the Citrix Cloud Connector. Okay, so I'll just copy the link and I'll go to my VM here. I'll open Microsoft Edge. Okay, so connector is downloaded. So before installing the connector, so I have to do some settings related to local server here. I need to disable this IE enhanced, so sometimes it will create a problem. Okay, and you have to make sure all the prerequisites like .NET for etc. Although it is not there, I think it will download it on demand. So let's run this. Okay, I'm going to run the Cloud Connector setup. Okay, so it will check the prerequisites, etc. Then it will ask you to proceed. Okay, I'm going to click on sign in. It will take me to the Citrix Cloud for the verification. Okay, so it accepted my credential. Let me authenticate using the OTP. Okay, sign in is successful. The moment sign in is successful, it will ask which tenant you want to use because my Citrix account is having multiple tenants. So I have to select the right tenant. And the resource location, this is very important. You remember we have created a resource location, right? So we need to select the resource location here. Okay. So now we need to click on begin installation. So this will take some time for the configurations, etc. It will do all the upgrade, etc. So we will keep as it is this one. So this is just I wanted to show how the installation, all those things are working. However, once installation everything is done, right? So you can go back to your Citrix Cloud portal under connectors, under resource location, you will find that particular cloud connector. So this is the one which created for demo. See CTX-CC. It is rotating. Why? Because it is doing the upgrade. So add one more thing related to the master image creation. So I just wanted to save time. What I have done, I already created a master image and already have created I already installed the video agent and then I have taken the snapshot also. Okay. So because that will take another 15 minutes, I don't want you to wait for that. So already created that snapshot. See, if you can see the Azure MI snap, right? This is nothing but a Windows Server machine on which I have installed a VDA agent. Okay, and then I took a snapshot of this. What are we are going to do? Using this snapshot, we are going to spin up the virtual machines.